Hi guys, welcome to the channel. I think this post should be coming up at least a week from the previous one. Still trying to get the hang of posting regularly, at least more than once a week, because at least from my knowledge of how the algorithm is supposed to work, it's more it's not that you're supposed to spam it to get your content out there, but it's that you should be more frequent compared to less frequent, right? Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure that out. But anyway, hoping y'all had a lovely week. Or if it was a bad week, at least you're here. You're here. You've made it to another one, and hopefully through this conversation of today, it's gonna make things a little bit easier. So if you noticed, the hair is at its slimmest. It's one of those things where I feel like my hair has to be on the hierarchy of texture of hair. This has to have the highest amount of shrinkage because I can make it go lower than this. Yeah. Today was a little bit of a wash day, so I just washed it, come to top, and just put it in a very small mini fro to do this, trying to keep the heat as much as possible away from the hair. But anyway, so very long intro. Today we're gonna talk about marriage, weddings, and a little bit about alcohol and drinking culture. Those are some things that really stood out to me during the week. I just wanted to share some of the tidbits that came through. So, first off, weddings. Is weddings really? No, I don't think. No, that's not the right part to start. First off, no, so first off, marriage. So, on the scale, am I pro marriage? Am I not for marriage? Definitely pro marriage, and I have a couple of reasons that will probably not make sense to someone who hasn't interacted with me before, because for more than what it is. So obviously, I believe that there should be, well, not really obviously, but I believe that there should be love within a marriage when getting into that union, right? But I think the bigger wins for why marriage ought to come to is extra things. So in terms of having someone who's going to be there for you, who technically should be there for you regardless of what happens in your life, the ups and the downs and all of that jazz. And obviously right now in 2025, that really doesn't stick quite as much, right? Because the rate of divorce has skyrocketed through the years, and it's just crazy. But yeah, one of the reasons why I think, again, the financial side of it, which especially if you're a dink, so like dual income, no kids, I think that would be the echelon, like top tier, a reason to get married, because that means you have two incomes in an household, and it's a case scenario where the responsibility shrinks to a little. You'd think it doubles, but I think it's more like 1.3 or 1.5s in terms of the things that you do in terms of chores, cooking, and everything. And then you're two guys, so splitting that up is a little bit more easy. Now, from my explanation, you can tend to understand that it's one where I believe that your partner, so in this case, for a heteronormative conversation, the wife would probably also be working, and in terms of the choring as well, the gent will also be choring. So the roles, in terms of playing gender roles within the marriage, that has to be determined by you guys in that union. So definitely another check on that, especially on the income part. I feel like everything is the rate of inflation. I saw a meme the other day where I was talking about, let me give you my 10 cents, because right now it's not 2 cents. The inflation cost has increased the value of the thought that I'm giving you. So definitely it does help. And then I think even legally as well, I'm not quite sure if it happens in Kenya, but I think for the most part in a lot of first world countries, where in terms of testifying against your spouse or your partner, there's laws that protect that union. And like, not that you're trying to commit a crime, but it's a nice to have. Better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it, right? Insurance, things like that. So for example, you're employed, but ties back into the financially, right? You have an employer, and they're covering, they give you health insurance, which is standard for a lot of European countries, not so the US. The US is cooked for the most part. Standard for European countries, and a couple of, I'd say, Kenya is there as well as a former British colony, and probably other African countries there as well, whether your employer provides health insurance and coverage to you. And if it's two of you, then it means you guys are kind of sharing that as well. So maybe one guy has like, let me use dollars because that would standardize it. I still don't know where my view is coming from. So say it's like, 10,000 for outpatient. You have that, and then your partner has maybe another, what, 10,500 or like 15K for outpatient things. That means 25 collective, because it's very unlikely that all of you are going to get sick to the same degree and in the same number of times within a year. So obviously it helps in terms of sharing the burden of health, which is something that we really ought to take care of, right? So you can't skimp on it. So there's so many reasons. And then just on, I think my biggest reason is on the companionship thing. It's not that I'm a bird person. I wouldn't class myself as a bird person. I'd say I'm a good person. But it's that having somebody who is like literally in the phrase ride or die for you is something to go for. Now, all of those things can exist without love, but I insist on this. Just don't misquote me. It's important for love to be in that relationship. Without love being there, I mean, it just doesn't make sense anymore. Like, why are you doing it? I remember I was having this conversation. So this is not this week. I was having this conversation, I think, like 2-3 weeks ago with one of my friends, and hopefully, no, they're definitely not on this channel yet. They're definitely not on this channel yet, because it would be one of those scenarios where, if your friend is a podcaster or a YouTuber, you know for sure that your conversations are coming online. But yeah, I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and it was along the lines of like, not married, but context of a relationship. Like, I'm doing all of these things in this relationship that I'm in, but I'm doing them out of responsibility and duty, and I'm okay with that. Like, that works for me, and my partner knows that I'm doing them out of duty and responsibility, and they seem to be fine with that. My friend is a guy, by the way, and don't class him. I'll do that. I'm the friend, right? But say that I'm not doing it out of a sense of love, and according to him, like, no, yeah, she checks all the boxes, like, checks in terms of physical attraction, it's there, in terms of character and quality, it's there, but like that love bit, that like emotion bit just isn't there for me yet. And like, I know it will come in time. Like, he kept saying that over and over again, and I was like, yeah, not quite. The reason why love is important, because love, the way we defined love in that conversation, because it was a bunch of us, but the way I defined it was that love as a feeling, it's very difficult to like pin down, but the way I would describe it, it's that feeling that I can't yet define with exact words, but I can describe it. I can describe love as the feeling that makes the chores and the duties and the responsibilities of life and of doing them to someone else not a chore. Like, does that make sense? Let me paint a picture. So for my biblical folk, it will make sense for you easy. Take the case of, I'm about to cook myself. Take the case of Jacob. Yeah, Jacob with Leah and Rachel, right? So because of love, he's pretty much slaves and works those 7 years. But in the way he describes it, like they passed as 7 days, right? But it's 7 years literally. And the thing that you pick out is that what he was doing for effectively Laban in this scenario was work. It was toiling. It's like they're not even a relationship. They're not even in the relationship yet. But because of this love, so like the love precluded the duty that he was supposed to do for Leah and Rachel. Now, he didn't know he was going to have two of them, but that's how it happened. And again, because of love, that's why he's able to go this additional 7 years and get Rachel as well after the trickery that Laban did. And yeah, so that's how we're defining love. Love, it's that feeling that, again, admittedly, I can't yet define it. Like, maybe I should have checked the dictionary. Now my phone is recording, so I can't check it. But it's the feeling that I can't yet define, but I can definitely describe. So it's that aspect that will make everything that ought to be difficult or responsibility, it make it easy and a chore. It's not happiness, because yes, you can be happy, but I can be happy in the farm, but farming is still a chore. But if I am in love with farming, the farming doesn't feel like a chore. even though it's such the reason why I use farming is because I come from a place, well, not really a community, but at least in our household, we come from a very dry place. We live on an island, on a hill on an island in Lake Victoria, and we can't farm because it's very rocky, it's very dry, we don't get no rain. Like the only chance for us to farm would be if we irrigated straight from the lake. Now the lake is like about 2-3 kilometers away from where we live on a hill, so it's a raised ground, and just doing that mathematics of bringing it up. So like, yes, could the soil be fertile? Maybe, but again, it is rocky. It is rocky. It's a rocky hill. It's not one of those soft hills. Like we don't get landslides in the sense of, it's like soft soils or like mud type soil, like coming down. It's more like rocks and like the chipping away due to erosion and stuff like that. So that's why I used farming. But back to the conversation. So like, yes, we've defined love, and again, circling back. I feel like I'm doing a lot of circling back. But yeah, coming back to the main topic, it's that love in itself makes everything easy. So it's really important for it to be in a relationship, and for the context of this conversation was marriage, and it's really important for love to be there, in as much as all of the other things that I'd said can exist within a relationship without the love component. That's why I think for the most part arranged marriages are successful. So arranged marriages, in my view, have a goal, and the way I see it at the very least is most of the things that I've talked about, not really most of them. I think, if I'm being honest, I feel arranged marriages are to achieve a societal goal of you getting married. So getting married is a goal, right? And if I'm just being clear, getting married is not an achievement, okay? So just get that out of your head. But at least the way I define an arranged marriage is that it achieves the societal goal of, you need to get married, right? And then there's the other part of arranged marriages where the other goal is often continuity of, say, a lineage or a community. So kids is an expected outcome. And the reason why I feel like they work for the most part is that because the goal is so clear and so defined, you all know that you're working towards this common goal. So all of these other things that I said that can exist within a marriage without the love bit, they just help and further that along. And probably at some point, if you guys were good people, and I'm saying good people because, like, unfortunately quite a number of arranged marriages involve quite a bit of abuse and toxicity from either partner, but oftentimes the male partner. So if it's good people coming into this, and maybe it's just like, I've tried this thing, it's been difficult, I haven't been getting the person, and set me up, mom, set me up, dad, set me up, and you get set up by someone else who's also in potentially a similar scenario, who's open to that type of marriage or situation, then it makes it easier. So it's going to work, but the love component, as I said, it shouldn't exist. But at least in my version of how I look at marriages, it's very critical because it gets tired. I mean, I feel like, let me argue and get disappointed and get upset at someone that I love compared to one that I don't, because it's very easy for it to bottle up. So the reason why we're having that conversation with my friend is that we're trying to tell him that you ought to break it off early, not because you'd be leading on someone. You said that you've had the conversation with them, but in itself you'll still be leading them on in terms of thinking that this is going to come, it's going to come and click for you. And effectively, you guys are sharing one person's love to ensure that this is being driven. Because from the lady's part, like, yeah, she's in love, she's smitten, and all of these things, and she's interpreting what my friend is doing as an act of duty. What my friend is doing as an act of duty to be, something that could grow into something else. But before it does, it's like you're loving the potential, but you're not really loving the reality, the present day, the status quo, right? So it's one of those things that we're just having, and we're like, what, but just be the honorable and reasonable person, and break it off. If at the end of it you do find yourself and the love comes in, then again reach out, because at least it was still in the initial stages, so pain wouldn't have been as much. Some people say that. I really disagree. I think pain is pain, man. You get cooked 7 years in, you're gonna be grieving for quite a long time. But even if it's like a month in, man, the grief period still exists for a reason. So you're going to be feeling a little bit crappy for significant amount of time, give or take, right? Because I feel like oftentimes, in as much as we're with a person, we're connecting it to a potential of romanticizing it and playing around it. So now, the reason why we were talking about marriage today is because I feel like December in Kenya has just been weddings all over the place, and like everybody's having a wedding every other day, every other weekend. I'm like, yo, okay, was this like a plan or a setup that I didn't know about? And looking at like some of the pictures and videos from some of these things, I was like, man, it, this wedding thing, this wedding thing, you know. Let me explain. Let me explain. It's this wedding thing because for most of the videos that I've seen and photos from like the various weddings that took place, it's like it's very vibrant. There's a lot of dancing and the bridal party and the groom and like they're doing all of these things. And like they're very happy. They're very happy. But the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because that's not me. 100% that's not me. I kid you not, I do not want to dance at my wedding. I do not want the bridal team and the groomsmen to be dancing. We will walk single file looking like robots, like some men in black type of thing, but we are not going to be doing all of that parading. So earlier this year, one of my friends did get married. It was a little bit tame. It was actually tea. It was good. It was something that I would actually go for because there wasn't that. Not even I have biblical arguments and religious arguments that I can make against it, but for me, it's just a personal thing. I don't like that, and it's not that I don't know how to dance. I do know how to dance. Let me preface. I feel like adults, people who've known me, high school and upwards, think that I do not know how to dance because that's when. When guys are saying like, oh, I turned 25 and my prefrontal cortex, nah, for me it was like, what, 12? Yeah. So after 12, yeah, I started making lifelong decisions. And for the most part, I've lived by most of it. And through that, I know I haven't like been as extra as possible. But as a kid growing up in like primary school, so that's like grade 1 through to grade 8, if you asked anybody like, can Jeff dance, can Shelton dance? And everybody was like, yes, he is a great dancer because that's the type of person I was in that setting. So it's not that I don't know how to dance, but that's just not me. That's not me that the 12-year-old me decided that, moving on, this is not what we're doing. It's just that, why would you have yourself in... Okay, I won't get into the reasons of why not dancing, because why dance? Like, just be focused. Like, it's not some British elitism type of thing, but, can we have a little bit of class? I mean, like, let's, if you were to dance, how about we dance to something that's on like 3-4 time, like a waltz or something? And again, not on some elitism because it's, they call it a dance, but I really don't think it's a dance. It's just like walking for the most part. Like, yes, there's a part into it. You have to follow the rhythm and be on beat and stuff. But it's like composed. You're not hyperventilating. I'm African, Kenyan at that. All of our dance styles are like very involving. All of your body parts are moving, and it's like there's so much going on. First of all, I don't like sweating, and if I'm supposed to do that on my wedding day, and like I'm sweating, and I have to wipe sweat from my face, like that's it. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So yeah, one of the reasons why weddings terrify me, and I'm really lucky that to this point yet I haven't been put in any bridal team or like any groomsmen type of team. Like I've been invited in a couple of roasts and stuff where we talk with a husband to be as the groom's friends and type of thing, but it's never in the sense of yeah, go get a suit. You'll be walking with whoever you'll be walking with, and so for me, it's just not happening. It's just not happening. I'm not doing that. I'm really not doing that. Another thing, again, still from wedding season, I'm loving what people are doing. So first, another thing about weddings, we did a bit of marriage, but another thing about weddings is that I don't like how everyone shows up for a wedding. Like, yes, it's gonna be the church version, right? Even that, I don't want you to show up if you don't know me. If I'm being honest, I really don't want you to, because it's supposed to be like an intimate session with people who I know, people who know me, and people who at least we've interacted. It's not like my mechanic should come to my wedding because they know me. But you, person who maybe we just met in church, no, I know you, but why are you bringing your friend who I don't? No, it baffles me to this day. a couple of my friends were like, oh, I'm going to this wedding on Sunday. Do you want to come? I'm like, of course I don't want to come. Like, the reason why I don't want to come is because I don't want them to come for mine. And I'm setting the precedent right now. I'm setting it pretty early on. So it's just one of those things that, again, weddings, it's just one of those, like, can we just, to the point where I've thought, like, maybe I should just go to the Attorney General's office and, like, just sign that marriage certificate. But then again, I feel like you'll be taking away, it's not like a romance, I don't like plan my wedding day, but I want it to happen. But just on my terms. Just on my terms. Maybe in another video we unpack what are my terms for the wedding, but definitely not what everyone is doing right now. Another thing is that, so the weddings guys are doing them. The reason why I was bringing that up is that you guys have now wisened up to people just showing up and having them on like the most random days. Like, hey guys, it's a Monday, come for the wedding. And the wedding is not even in Nairobi, it's like a 4-hour drive away. Of course no one's coming, no one's pulling up to that. It's like just 30, 40 people, like it's just intimate, it's like very good. It's giving COVID weddings. The weddings that took place during COVID, I feel like they were really good because the numbers were controlled, and it feels like a very Kenyan thing to say, but there's enough food for everyone. Like you can go for seconds. Not that I go for seconds, but you can, because it's gonna be too much food in there. Because the other thing with the bigger weddings is that you have to overinflate the budget for food, and then more often than not is that it's not that the food gets depleted, but that not all of it is used because you shot too high. It's easier to plan for fewer people. At some point I've even toyed with the idea of, what, I'll have a wedding, but then everybody buys their plate. What do you mean you're just showing up to my wedding? If you show up to the wedding, I'll have like a catering team do like very nice dishes and everything is like, okay, this is not the final thought on how my wedding would be, but just an idea I'm trying to like, the chef does everything and it's like really, 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 really good. And then all that I need is that when you show up, because again, most guys show up without a gift. So the chef does everything, do the quotes, and then I put a markup on it. The markup on it is your contribution towards me starting what is going to be a very, very difficult thing. Yeah, still in the works, but definitely, yeah. So a couple of guys wisened up this December. Guys are having weddings on like a Monday, random Wednesday here and there. Like nobody's actually doing it on the weekends, and it's really helping with the numbers, and it's all really good. So yeah, it's maybe something that we have to adopt. And it's very sad that I feel like the main reason why people are adopting this is because they want to limit those numbers without actually limiting them. Because you have your wedding in December or in April or in August, guys are showing up with their kids, with their entire extended family because schools are closed. So what do? Actually December is a terrible month. Have it in like what? Jan. I mean in Jan you probably won't get as many gifts because guys are overspent, but have it like Jan 17th, 18th, middle of the week. It's only people who are like crazy for you who are going to pull up for that, and like that's what a wedding should be. It should be something intimate. Still on this marriage conversation, I'm telling you, at some point we're going to talk about this again. But dowry, should we pay it? Should we not pay it? So recently I was watching like a TikTok video of a lady, and like well spoken, I understand her perspective, where it's like, there's like this tussle of, you've come with this amount for our girl. She was a lady speaking, so she was talking about her case, where it was like, no, not her case, her sister's case. It was like there was a little bit of tussle, and like, come in, pay the dowry. Technically, we don't say pay for the bride, but like you technically are. So let me just paint full picture. But yeah, pay the dowry, and then when you come in for the negotiations, before you're let in, you have to like pay the community members, like the members of the clan and relatives who've come in at the gate, and they're like, you have to come in and like pay us some money so that we let you in, and you already paid dowry. And she was talking about this, and it was like, you come into the negotiation and it's very patriarchal. It's just the uncles there and like male relatives, and they're talking about money and all of these things, and it's just like she was painting the picture of like, yes, it's patriarchal, but like, it's giving value to this person. It's just like one of those nooks within how some communities in Kenya do their marriages, they just gives like a certain allure and like she's for it. Now me personally, I don't really mess with marriage, with the dowry process of marriage. Like, first off, why are we paying for someone? Because they start making arguments. Some people be crazy. They're like, oh, but we took her to school. She has a master's. And I'm like, yeah, I've got a PhD. Like, do you go band for band, like academic accolade for academic accolade at this point? Like, make it make sense. Like, at first, at least the way I understood it was supposed to be a token of appreciation. See, that I'm on board with, right? But why would you expect a couple, because these guys, they're going to be one, at least for my Christian folk, like, you guys, when you're married, you're like one, you're a team, everything is shared. So why would this person dip into whatever they're coming into the table, whatever they're coming into the relationship with, just so that we have this bit of the process, or of the cultural aspect of it. I mean, I feel like there's so many ways we can show appreciation. And yes, when it was appreciation, it was just a small amount, so there wasn't a pinch. But nowadays, it's grandiose. It's crazy, man. I've seen quite a number where it's going into the millions. Quite a number, like millions is more often time the norm than the the outlier in the situation. So something that I really don't mess with. But like, I understand those guys, and then in that same vein, it was a podcast. I can't remember it. I saw it on TikTok, but guy was saying, yeah, so different scenario where a guy, they did that to him, and then he paid and got in, and then realized, you know what, I've overspent for this. So what did he do? The guy was a banker, like called the bank and told them to reverse the dowry, because like a bit of it was just like a direct bank transfer. So yeah, dowry, crazy, right? That's it in terms of the marriage bit. I don't know what your thoughts are. Like, I really want to know what you guys think. What do you do in your communities? Does it make sense for you in terms of how people are doing weddings now, in terms of the whole marriage, love thing? Does it make sense to you in terms of dowry? I feel like I haven't done justice to dowry, but that's because I've already talked so much about this other side, and I feel like it's getting darker, and I don't know. But still, that's it for me with regards to marriage and stuff. Alright guys, let's talk alcohol. Let me just open this conversation. I don't drink, never drank. In my family, no one drinks. Extended family, of course people drink. It would be an anomaly. Definitely an anomaly if no one drank in the extended family. So that's my background. Again, also very religious. So in terms of denomination, I'm Seventh-day Adventist, where in the baptismal vows there's something about alcohol in terms of the sale, distribution, and consumption of it. And I agreed to that vow. But even before that, I wasn't drinking. Let me keep on painting this picture. My grandma, my maternal side, so my mom's mom, brewed alcohol. So traditional form of alcohol, and had clients, and even the police were her clients. And like this, mind you, this is the time period where we have like alcohol ban laws, and so there's a lot of let's say demonization of that traditional practice. But the police were on her, were some of her best customers, because she did it, and she did it well. A couple of my cousins from the maternal side do this, like not do this, but like were part of it in terms of, hey, go get water for alcohol. Oh, who's come to buy? And like they did that. So that's coming from me. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this conversation, something happened interestingly on Friday. So on Friday we were having our end of year Christmas party, and obviously there was like drinks, like everybody had like 5k to use and spend. So like the only rule was that you have to use it at that location to completion. So a couple of guys were like, you know what, I'm not even gonna eat. Like I'll just order like fries for like 100 bob, and then keep the rest, like have it like part for me, like cans and bottles and all of that jazz. So that happened, right? But then there were guys who were like, I'll drink and eat. So some guys didn't even eat that much. They just drank and drank. Now, one guy in particular, let's call him Peter. One guy in particular, Peter, he drinks and like starts with a beer, goes to another stronger liquor, and then when we were doing like Secret Santa reviews, it was like if you don't know anyone, you get a shot. So the company, not on your tab, buys a bottle of tequila. Is it tequila or tequila? I think tequila. But buys a bottle of tequila, and you're supposed to get shots. So obviously, someone like me, I did guess right, so it didn't matter. But I told them like earlier in advance, like I don't drink. Like it's even one of my least quirks in the office because I'm also plant based, so I don't take meat. So that's a bigger deal than even not drinking. So Peter drinks, and he gets drunk. We're gonna get into the drunk bit, but he gets drunk. Now, how does he get drunk? It wasn't the beers. It seems like he had enough tolerance for that. But even in that, because he was sitting like directly opposite to me on the table, it was like a long, like you have like those 6 foot long subways, and like guys are sitting on either side. That was pretty much the setting, but now multiplied because we were like a team of like 30 guys, so you have like about 10 guys on this side, 10 guys on that side, accounting for the guys who didn't show up, right? So Peter does this, and he with the beers he's buzzed, but now because the tequila side was being passed on the side that he was, he gets like he doesn't even use like I think the glasses that are used for shots, just takes like the normal one and just adds it into the beer and is drinking, adds it in and is drinking and is chugging and is chugging, so he gets wasted. He was doing this with another guy, James, but again another made up name, James, but James is a common drunk. So there's a types of drunk. It's like the talkative drunk, the aggressive drunk, and all of these things, right? And I wish he was a funny drunk, but he wasn't. So I guess it's time to leave. I was supposed to take an Uber, but it was taking too long. So I just came back. I had actually left the restaurant and went to wait at like the pickup and drop off spot, but it wasn't working out. So I came back in and called my cousin, and he came and picked me up. So when he's picking me up, so I'm doing math, and I'm like, yeah, I have space for like three more guys in the car. So who else down? I'm like, yeah, I'm down. I'm like, yeah. So it's 4. It's technically 4. So then just asking, because like we talk with Peter on like normal work day. It's not like it's a frame thing. Again, it sits not so far from me. It's an open plan office, so we interact a lot. We play pool together, and so there's a lot we can talk about Peter's character off of the alcohol. But we'll just stick to the alcohol because our topic today is alcohol, right? And with Peter, it's iffy. It's iffy in that. Sorry, lost my train of thought there a bit. So I asked Peter, yeah, Peter, like, are you not going home? Because like clearly he was still in, and like it got to a point where the wait staff came in, and the busboy, right, came in and was like, hey, yeah, we're closing, and they was like, no, I still want to order. Like I haven't used my 5K yet, so. Because it got buzzed up so quick. But the tab had already been closed by our country manager, because like everybody had finished. It was like time to leave, and so he's there, he's like complaining, and he's drunk and like complaining. Everybody who's ordered, like, has it got to like 5K? I'm trying to imitate a drunk person. I can't even fake it. It's something I haven't experienced before, and probably, hopefully, will never have to. Is that? But then I asked him, how are you heading out? And I was like, you'll carry me. And I'm like, no, it's full, like I've already carried out. And you're like, he keeps insisting. And then, okay, now maybe this is on me, but then I get frustrated a bit. And so like now I'm ignoring him. And then it brings in a different uncle. So like when I'm saying that the car is full, like there's other guys who are still there. Most of them, there was what? There's one lady, the other 3 ladies took cabs because they were going to another after party and like stuff like that. And then there were like 3 other guys, like 2 other guys, which ended up being 3 because one person didn't have a ride, and I was like, it's just one person, so they all squeezed in at the back 4 people instead of seating 3. And so like that had been prepared. And then he asked, Amma means or. So or the reason why you don't want to carry me is because I'm drunk. Like, you can't carry a drunk person. I paused. I paused for a minute, and this is me formulating my mind process out, because this is a question I hadn't asked myself before. So he asked me the question, and I'm like, yes, I actually cannot carry a drunk person. And I feel like this is something to live by. Like, I can carry people who drink, I can carry people who've been drinking, but I can't carry a drunk person. It seems crazy to say, but I wouldn't even subject myself to going to somewhere with someone who I know gets drunk. I can go somewhere with someone who I know will drink, but someone who gets drunk, that place I draw the line. So it goes on this tirade, and that arced him up, and it's like, even if one day I'll buy my car and all of this jazz, and I'm like, I mean, sure. Like, at that point, like, I know he's triggered now. Like, I'm just in my mind, I'm like, this is gonna be amazing content for the YouTube channel. So it keeps going on, it keeps going on, and then he starts saying, I may be drunk right now, but if you go and look at the class list of whichever year and check for my name, first class. I got first class at this university, top university. I'm saying top because I want to make it as difficult as possible it is to track who this person is. Like, top university, right? Yeah, so like all of these things, like I don't even think you got first class, and like he's drunk, and apparently he tells this to other people where like asks them a question. Apparently they were doing some campaign to get someone to be selected for employee of the year, and that came like with an award, like a voucher, and like they were supposed to split it. So he asked someone. He asked one of our colleagues who was there. Call him Devin. Yeah, but Devin is a guy in this scenario. So I asked him, and like, did you vote for my guy? And like, no, if I'm being honest, I didn't vote for him. Because like, I knew it. And then taps the other drunk guy, James, who he was drinking crazy with. He was like, I told you he did not drink. I told you. He did not vote for you. I told you. And then James is like, yeah, I'm also here. I've heard him say. Yeah, like, wow, why are you shouting? So it's that type of drunk. Like, even the very other drunk James is telling him, hey, like, yeah, chill out a bit, right? And even drunk James goes like, yeah, that's why you beat him like a 7-ball in pool. So, so 7-ball is where like you pretty much just didn't pocket in sort of ball in the pots. So you didn't even get to play the black ball. So it's normally like an ego thing where it's like, yeah, but I'm better than you in that regard. But that's side note. His was polite, his was still. But Peter, on this other hand, is just like ramming into it, and does this whole first class thing with him. So apparently here he switches the universities and goes like, oh, I was in this other top university in the country, and yes, I got a first class there. So mind you, how petty I am, and knowing that I'm gonna do content with this, I was like, oh, sorry. Yikes. Sorry. I do my research, and I was like, did he actually get this? I checked for at least the one that he told me, the uni that he told me. He didn't get it. He wasn't there in that year. So unless he was drunk and confused the years, which I don't think he confused the years, because I know that he graduated and that's the same year he told me it. So I was just checking for the university, and it was like, I got this degree in accounting and all of that. So mind you, even in that point, I was like, yeah, but you got a first class in accounting. Sorry for my accountants, but anybody can do that. Like, you'd wake me up right now, speedrun me through only 2 years of accounting, do the exams, and I kid you not, I'll get a first class. Like, not to be cocky or anything, it's accounting, guys. It doesn't change with the times. Maybe an act changes here or there, but it's just stuff that you read. It's not even a STEM related course. So again, it's coming off very egotistical, but yes, I did comp sci. If it's not obvious by now, it should have been. I don't rate some degrees, but still, checked it and it wasn't there. And it was just one of those things where I'm like, how are you bragging about something that doesn't exist? I really hope that he was wrong, and maybe the second university, I didn't check for the second university that he mentioned, because I was like, he can't have them both years. Yeah, I mean, I think a year or like 6 months younger or older than me. I'm not quite sure on that, but exactly, like, you get my point. So the reason why I was I wanted us to have this conversation about alcohol after all of this happened, is that why do you guys drink? Like, please, in the comment section, please let me know why guys drink. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. And I'm not one of those who's going like, oh, if you don't, I really understand it if you don't try. Like, no, give me a research papers. I really want to understand. Because some guys talk about, it helps you escape from, the troubles and all of these things. And I'm like, sleep does the same. Like, go for a run, you'll be super tired, you'll fall asleep. Like, you get where I'm coming from. So it's like, for my alcoholics, for the people who drink, for the people who partake in that pleasure, why do you drink? And if you drink, at least I think I can understand the buzz thing for these other people, because I'm comparing it and I'm associating it with the sugar rush, because I've gotten sugar rushes before. So for example, if I've gone for 10, 12 hours in the day without eating anything, and say the first thing that I eat is like pastry or like something very sugary, I'm definitely going to get hyped up. So I'm thinking maybe the tamer guys, or like guys who don't get fully drunk, it's just like, yeah, it unlocks that side for them. And I'm like, yeah, I understand you, but sugar does the same. So right. But for the people who drink to get drunk, where you're falling and it's just I really want to know how it makes sense. Like, I know I'm not trying to mock people who are trying to battle alcohol addiction in any way, shape or form. I'm talking to the people who haven't classed themselves as addicts or alcoholics yet. So this is an easy conversation for them to have. What got you into enjoying that state of drinking to that point? Like, yes, I am not a perfect person, so I have to preface that. Like, I'm not a perfect person. I have my own internal vices, but at least for this one, I don't have it, and I really want to understand what goes in. Like, what would make you act like Peter D? Because now it's like a stain on his reputation. I remember somebody in the group chat, in the work group chat, was like checking up on him, sent it as like, hey, by the way, Peter, did you get home safe? And I think it was still like buzzed out, like, that's like at least 18 hours after the fact. A testament to how drunk he was. It's like, if you really cared, you'd have checked up on me through a call instead of, putting the text here. I mean, like, I can still. So again, it's definitely left a stain on his relationship. And even for me, it's like I perceive it differently now. Again, at some point, if you guys want to talk about it, just leave it in the channel. Like, give us more details about Peter, and like I'll tell you everything about Peter that goes wrong, because like there's it's a lot of, it's not even beige or like amber flags at this point. It feels like orange flags. You know how you stand at a traffic stop and it's like orange and not red type of thing. Like there's amber, but then there's like orange that almost red, like sunset orange. Like it's definitely close to red. Like so many things. Like I just don't want to put anything on anyone's character without fully knowing them. But there's so much about. So if you want to know about that, just put it in the comments, and we can make a dedicated video about like the things that Peter does and what I think about them. But yeah. So to my people who partake in alcohol and get drunk to that point, why? I really want to understand why, and maybe then we can have a bigger conversation about overcoming addiction and all of these things, because I think there's some addictions that I've been able to beat, not substance abuse though, just putting it out there. If Peter watches this video, I'm better than you in that regard. And just to bring it back so that it doesn't go unanswered, I didn't do a first class, second class type of ranking system. That was not our honor system. But yes, when I convert my final grade point average to that system, I did get a first class. So yeah, even in that, I'm better than him. Bye guys.